People struggle in Germany not because they're lazy or unmotivated. Most problems actually come from unwritten rules. No one explains them, but everybody expects you to know them. And if you break them, people usually won't argue or complain. They just become distant or stop trusting you. And this is why these rules are so powerful. They quietly decide whether you belong or always feel a bit out of place. I came to understand this over my 14 years of living in Germany. If you know these rules, your daily life becomes calmer, more predictable, and far less stressful. Personal space is required, politeness is expected. In Germany, people care a lot about personal space and also polite behavior. And they keep both physical and emotional distance at first. But they still expect simple politeness. You don't stand too close to others. You don't touch people casually. And you also don't share very personal details at first. But you do say hello. For example, if you enter a waiting room, an office, an elevator, or a small shop, a short Hallo is expected. And when you leave, saying Tschüss or Schönen Tag noch is important. Ignoring people feels rude, but on the other hand, being too friendly can also feel uncomfortable. And the right approach is in the middle. It's short, calm, and respectful. Being yourself is fine, forcing others is not. In Germany, people usually accept different lifestyles. You can pretty much dress how you want within boundaries, think in your own way, and also live your life in a free way. You could say it's a very individualistic society. But there's one clear rule. Your freedom shouldn't bother other people. Being different is welcome, especially in private life. But in public, people expect you to follow shared rules. But very important, being yourself is accepted, and if you live here, there's no need to change your identity. But pushing your way onto others is not very welcomed, so please keep this in mind. Being on time means respect. In Germany, being on time is very important. It's not just a habit, and it's also not just a stereotype. It shows respect. And being late doesn't mean you were busy. It means you didn't value the other person's time enough to plan well. This is what this communicates in Germany. And this rule applies to work, appointments, and social plans. If you say you will arrive at 6, you're pretty much expected to arrive at 6. Not 6:10, not 6:15, 6. If you're even 5 minutes late without telling anyone, people might not complain, but they will trust you less. And trust, we'll see later in a video, is a very important part. Start formal and wait for an invitation to be informal. German culture has clear social rules, and one of the most important ones is formality. At first, people use Sie instead of Du, and they also use last names. Du is the informal version of you, and Sie with a capital S is formal. And the tone stays polite, professional, and I would say a bit distant at first. And the whole process of going from Sie to Du is a sign of trust and comfort. And before you do this, people have to offer it to you. If you use it too early, people don't see it as friendly. They see it as ignoring boundaries. I would say in Germany, closeness is something you earn, not something you assume. Privacy is very important. In many cultures, people connect by asking a lot of personal questions. In Germany, this is different. Topics like money, salary, relationships, family problems, and personal struggles are seen as private. And if you ask about them too early, things can feel uncomfortable, even if you mean it well. And what surprises many people is that Germans can be both open and private. So if someone decides to share, they might share a lot, but that choice has to come from them. Until that point, simple and light topics are safer. Being reliable matters more than being friendly. In Germany, people trust what you do more than what you say. Being friendly but unreliable pushes people away. Being quiet but dependable, on the other hand, builds trust. Because of this, promising too much is risky. Saying yes just to be polite and then not doing it is worse than saying no from the start. People respect clear limits, and this is why it's so easy for Germans to say no. And they also value honest and realistic answers more than hopeful promises. And this is also why written confirmation is very important. You know, people expect a follow-up message or email to confirm things. And this is not because they don't trust you. It is to avoid confusion and make everything clear later. Being direct is normal, not rude. German communication can sound cold or harsh to newcomers, and most of the time it is simply clear and factual, as you might realize. People give feedback to fix a problem, not to show emotions. And it is important to know that being direct doesn't mean sharing feelings. Clear and practical words are really valued, but long emotional explanations, venting, or talking about feelings, well, people often don't like that. For example, if someone says, "This doesn't work, please change it," they're usually not angry with you, they just want a better result. Silence is normal in public places. In many public places in Germany, silence is normal. It is not uncomfortable. Trains, waiting rooms, elevators, and apartment buildings are usually pretty quiet. Speaking with a loud voice on the phone, playing music without headphones, or having loud conversations in small spaces, this will often get you very negative looks, the German stare it is called. And this is oftentimes not too personal. It is because there is an unspoken rule that public spaces should stay calm. And this doesn't mean Germans are always quiet, of course. With friends or in private places, people can be very talkative. The quiet rule mainly applies to shared public areas. Language is a signal, not just a tool. In Germany, language is more than just a way to talk. It is also a signal. Speaking German, even if it's not perfect, shows that you want to fit in. You don't need perfect grammar or perfect pronunciation. What matters more is effort. And using even basic German in daily life changes how people treat you. People become more patient, more helpful, and also more open. I know many people are confused when Germans switch to English. And this doesn't mean German is not important. It usually means they want to be efficient. And the signal comes from your attempt, not from speaking perfect German. I would say without German, daily life often feels cold and purely practical. With German, it becomes more cooperative. And language in Germany works like leverage. It doesn't guarantee success, but it removes friction everywhere. If you're just starting and want a clear and realistic way to learn German as a beginner, I made a separate video that explains the best way to learn German as a beginner. I'll put the link to it in the video description. Quiet hours are real and enforced. People take quiet hours seriously in Germany, and they are called Ruhezeiten. And they are not suggestions, they're almost holy. Evenings, Sundays, and public holidays are meant to be quiet. It is actually very beautiful to go outside on a Sunday morning to see the whole city being calm and quiet. It is actually one of my favorite moments of the week. So loud music, drilling, vacuuming, or parties during these times can lead to real complaints. And this is not meant to be rude. The rules exist so that everyone can rest. And to be honest, respecting quiet hours is one of the easiest ways to avoid problems with German neighbors. Shared spaces need respect. So shared places like staircases, laundry rooms, shared kitchens usually come with clear expectations. So people expect you to clean up after you use them and put things back where they belong. There is no need to make life harder for others. Life in Germany is based on the idea that everybody keeps things in order. Yes, sometimes this can even go into extremes, we all know the stereotype, but it makes life more predictable. So this brings me to the next rule. Rules are followed even when no one is watching. And this surprises many people. In Germany, rules matter even when they seem unnecessary. People stop at red lights even late at night when there's no car in sight. And people follow cues even when no one is enforcing them. If you follow small rules, it is also a sign that you understand how society works. Sorting trash, returning bottles, respecting bike lanes, and following house rules, they all matter. And these small actions shape how others see you. And the idea is very simple. Rules create predictability. Predictability creates trust. And trust helps society work with fewer problems. In smaller cities, the way people follow the rules might be a bit different, but the thinking behind them is the same. Work and private life are kept separate. In Germany, co-workers can be kind, polite, and helpful without being close friends. Working together doesn't automatically mean a personal relationship. And this separation helps protect boundaries that we talked about earlier in the video. People can stay professional without feeling emotional pressure. And friendships might grow over time, but this usually happens slowly and on purpose. And when friendships do form, they are often stable and last for a long time. So it is worth investing into long-term people. Complaints are meant to fix things. In Germany, pointing out problems is often seen as helpful and not negative. People complain to improve systems, processes, or results. Because if nobody complains, nothing changes. And yes, this can also go into extremes, and I do understand that some people are repelled by the constant negativity. Of course, there needs to be a balance between complaining and also taking action. And sometimes people in Germany lack that, but this is a different story. but obviously this depends on the people you hang out with. But at its core, this is not about letting out emotions. It is about finding what doesn't work and making it better. And knowing this makes feedback easier to accept and less personal. History must be treated seriously. People treat topics like World War II and Nazism in a very serious way in Germany. You usually don't use them for jokes or casual talk. And I would say a majority of the population is well educated about this part of the history. So people expect awareness and respect when these subjects come up. If you throw them around lightly, it can break trust fast. Respect the system, do not fight it with emotions. German systems are very structured and rule-based. There is a lot of paperwork, steps and waiting times. And this can feel frustrating, but these systems exist to keep things organized. It is far from being perfect, and people are aware of that, and there are a lot of interesting developments right now. I will keep you updated on this channel. But getting angry at the system usually doesn't help, but learning how it works and following the steps does. Once you kind of accept this, daily life in Germany becomes much easier and less stressful. So fitting in Germany isn't about being perfect or changing who you are. It is about understanding what people expect and respecting clear boundaries. And when you do this, Germany becomes a place where things work, people trust you, and life feels stable instead of overwhelming. And learning the language also helps a lot. Check out this video next where I explain it step by step. Love you and stay focused.